The studio is Mustafa Caner, an assistant professor of Iranian studies at the Middle East Institute of Sakarya University. It's the first time you and I have sat down together in the studio since this began. Is this the most consequential war of our lifetime? I'm 58, by the way.
I'm afraid so, because it has a huge potential to spill over other areas in the region, and also it affects in multiple ways, like economic. I mean, politically, it is hugely affecting our lives, and now our politicians, our statesmen, they are really being careful about the decisions that they are going to make towards the war, because even if you don't want to be involved, some effects are, making you push you in a position that you have to choose between, some alternatives. So I think everyone is so careful, and also it has some social costs also, because it has a potential to produce, unwanted, irregular refugee waves towards other regions. If it becomes a protracted war, its costs, will be multiplied, and I think, and also Iran's strategy is actually based on externalizing the costs. So it's already happening, in the Gulf. People are very afraid. People are living in, Qatar, Dubai, these areas, or Saudi Arabia, because this war has many dimensions, and strategies also differ. For example, when Iran is targeting, for example, Dubai, it is not only, targeting US military assets. It also attacks the idea of Dubai, like it's a safe haven, like a center of financial business around the world. It's a huge hub for, international travels, etc. So it actually shakes this image. So I think we are in the beginning to see that the Middle Eastern order, if there was any, is actually fracturing as we know it.
That's a really interesting point about these safe havens, because I certainly know about Qatar and the UAE, where most employees, people who are doing salaried jobs, are foreigners, because they have come to this part of the world to help build those Gulf nations, while, of course, taking good salaries home.
Of course.
So if that theory is destroyed, that clearly will affect the entire economic and social structure of what we know of those countries as they are today. But Mustafa, in terms of winners and losers, would it be fair to say that it's much more difficult for America to claim victory than it is for Iran? Because the Americans don't really know what victory looks like right now. But for Iran, victory is simply survival. Would that be fair?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you want to claim your victory, you have to have a defined military and political objectives. You have to have, a defined political objective and strategy. So when we look at the Iranian side, as you said, it's survival. They are in the survival mood. But when we look at the United States, what was the justification? What is the aim here? What is the exit plan? What is the off-ramp? These are all unclear. So, and Iranians are also very seasoned with this kind of protracted wars and conflicts. So as long as this war goes on, I think the cost that the United States feel will be much more than the Iranians will feel. And also, since they have no clear objective, is it about regime change? Is it about, collapsing the whole system? What is it about? If you don't have any clear agenda, you can't just, claim your victory. So I think the American people are also questioning that, because, when they hear explanations from different kinds of, political actors, like take Marco Rubio, he says a different thing than Donald Trump. So Rubio says we were dragged this war after Israel pulled us, And Donald Trump said, no, it was our, independent decision to be engaged in this war. This is totally different explanation. So that's why American people are also questioning that. So it's really unclear on the US side. But when it comes to Israeli side, they are, very open about their, strategy. They just want the Iranian command and control targets to be, destroyed. They want to see a failed Iranian state there. They don't have any, agenda to, establish a democratic state, something like that. No, they just want to see a failed Iranian state. That's their playbook, actually. That's their aim. But on the US side, there is no clear agenda. There is no clear strategy.
Yeah. I think it's called Net Blockers, an internet watchdog, has said that for the past week, pretty much, internet coverage across Iran has been reduced to 1%. Pretty much impossible to use the internet. Do you think that's why we're not hearing so many dissenting voices amongst the general population? I've read one interview from one student in Iran who says, we're just waiting for our moment. We haven't heard much about how the Iranians have been reacting to Ali Khamenei's death, apart from seeing the mourners on the streets.
Yes, the internet blockage, actually, it's about, taking some precautions against the possible insurgency inside the country, or they just want to prevent the opposition from communicating with each other like the last time
of course,
during
because that's what
the
Trump
protests.
wants. That's what Benjamin Netanyahu wants.
Yeah, but there's this other side of this picture also. The rally around the flag issue is really strong here, especially during this kind of emergency, this kind of wartime conditions. I don't think that Iranians are genuinely going to, protest, object against their own state, because they don't differentiate between the state and the country right now. They see these bombs, they see these missiles against the country, against Iran, not against the Islamic Republic or not against the state. So they perceive the issue like that, and maybe you saw that many Iranian people abroad now returning to their homeland because it's an emergency and they want to defend their country. So in case this battle will be, a long one. So I think the rally around the flag issue is really important here, considering the nationalist and nationalist feelings of the Iranian people, and the concept of national unity is really strong there. So I don't think that this scenario that Trump expected to, become real inside Iran.
Okay, we will discuss this further, Mustafa, because you're here for a couple of hours, so we'll be bringing you in to get this analysis that you're giving us, which is so helpful to understand all these disparate issues that are all centering on the one issue, Iran and its leadership and its nuclear ambitions. Thanks so much for the watch.